Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi,
Hi.
what's your name? Opal? Welcome. Tell us where you're from.
Hi. Does it
Hi.
say Opal?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my daughter's name. I'm Flora. I must have my daughter's name in the Zoom. Um, Hi, I'm from Naples, Florida.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So how did you so your name is, just tell me again. I'm gonna put it in.
It's
Flora.
Flora.
Flora. Okay.
Flora. I'll try to change it on the Zoom.
I actually changed it for you. Hi, Ima.
Oh, thank you.
So how did you hear about it? Do you have how did you hear about our growth circle?
I've been getting emails from y'all, and I think I signed up for something for my daughter at some point that got me on an email list. And anyway, I saw your group and finally had a moment where I thought I would try to participate.
Thank you. Yeah, that's Jewish Girls Unite. You probably get it from
That's
Jewish Girls Unite. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I want to share with you that on each day we have a different way of integrating the Tehillim and also the Bitachon, which is the gate of trust. And Fridays is kind of like a winding down. We say some Tehillim and we really just connect. And it's usually a smaller group because a lot of people are busy on Friday, but in a way, the smaller group has something very special to it. People share reflections on their week. We do the G.R.O.W. We look back at our week, we express our gratitude, and no matter what we're going through in our own lives, we can always grow through it. That's our motto here. Don't just go through life, but grow through it. And I think everyone here is feeling a lot of emotions at the same time. That was the theme of our speaker this week. Reflecting back on the week, Leah Namdar from Sweden, who has literally fought the battles for the Jews in Sweden, even just for Jewish education, not to have to send her kids to public school. She was fined, and she had to fight the government for years. And I think they're still trying. They didn't give up. But she was the one that really showed us that the teachings in the Tanya, that we have such a oneness with Hashem that we can hold both in the same heart that Hashem has given us. We can hold the pain for our people or whatever we're dealing with. At the same time, there's also so much to be joyful, and especially now it's Hanukkah, and it is a commandment to be joyful. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha, we say Chag Sameach, which means that it's not just a commandment, but God gives us the koach. He gives us the strength with the commandment, with the mitzvah. And it's through the connection with Him. Mitzvah means connection. So with the connection to Him, that we can dig deep and find our oil so that we can be a light today, even in a very, very dark world. So welcome. It says we're growth circle for Israel. And then I changed it this week for Geulah, because we need redemption. We need it more than we ever did. We're all yearning for this. We want this war to end. So I changed it. It's not just for Israel, but it's really for the redemption of all of our chatufim, and it's the redemption of our just of our people throughout the world. So welcome Chaya Kratz. Nice to see you back. Ima Laber, Ayala, Flora, and welcome. So we start off with Tehillim, and as we say the Tehillim, please look at the words. We're going to look at them in English. What's the message that you need from King David during these times? I saw a quote somewhere that these times are really the revelation. It's a celebration of the revelation of our hidden growing light, that little light inside of us that sometimes is hidden. Now is the time to find it, just like the Maccabees found that pure oil. And with that, we could continue to sustain ourselves, our Judaism, our people. And how lucky are we that Hashem has given us that little light inside of us that's infinite, that's one with God, and it's like a flame. And this is the time of Hanukkah that the light is revealed in a much more greater way, and it's growing just like every night. The lights are growing. Think about in ourselves, what are the lights that you're growing each day? Today is the first day, and already we're enough. One little light dispels a lot of darkness, and we keep growing that light. But it has to start with, we're already enough. We're already a light. We're already a powerful, incredible force of light. So today is Chav Hei Kislev, which is the 25th of Kislev. And if you look at the word Hanukkah, it's Chanu Chav Hei. Hanukkah actually hints to the letters 25. So what does Hanukkah mean? Hanukkah means dedication. They rededicated the temple with the small oil. They lit the menorah again, even if they didn't know how it would continue to sustain for 7 days until new oil was manufactured. But they trusted. They gave it all they got, and they lit that menorah. And Hashem took care of the rest. That's why we celebrate Hanukkah. It's like us when we do our little part, right? And I was thinking about any project that I do, I'm going to have a to-do list for Hashem. My little part is going to be candle number 1, and Hashem needs to do the rest. Although we do prepare the oil, we prepare the vessel for him, but he can bring us such unlimited, infinite blessings. And going back to the word Chanukah, so it's Chanu Chav Hei. They rested on the 25th. This was a day that they finally rested from the wars, from the battles, and they relit the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. So Chanukah has so much meaning. And today it's amazing. We are praying together on the 25th of Hanukkah. So after this long week, I started out the week asking everyone, how are you feeling on Monday morning? Today, I'm going to ask you to put in the chat, how are you feeling as we go into Hanukkah and into the Shabbos of Hanukkah? If everyone just wants to write as I pull up the Tehillim and connect with each other, heart to heart. So I'm giving you a minute to think. How are you feeling? Wow, today is Kuf Yates. It's the long Tehillim, which goes according to the Aleph Beis. So we'll say a little bit of it, and then we'll talk and do a grow. Okay. So how are we feeling today? Anybody want to put in? I don't have to say your name. Just write down how you're feeling. Tired but grateful. Thank you for sharing.
Do we have to write it or could we say it?
Oh, go ahead and say it if you're good with that.
It's really funny and it's fine. I I'll respect it about myself, but I'm in somewhere else and I get overwhelmed by my senses. Like there's too much, there's no equilibrium. Like there's a lot of wood, but not enough. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like in my house, I have very little stuff. People ask me all the time, like, did you just move in? Because it takes me a while to like integrate, like, okay, one piece. Okay, fine. Okay, next. So here is Baruch Hashem, a lived in house for a lot of years. So it's
So
a bit
that's
over.
like you're not making Shabbos this week, I assume.
I don't know. I don't know.
Or you might help, but you're by someone else.
I'm in my mother-in-law's house, but my mother-in-law is not here. It's like our family and my sister-in-law that just got married. So it's gonna be cute. It's just like every time I come here, I have to like, my senses are overloaded.
Okay,
So I have to work a little harder to focus on one thing.
thank you, Ima, do you want to say it? By the way, I'm not going to share this recording. Today is, I don't share. And I'm actually thinking that the recordings are going to be put in our Podia community. I have a platform. So it will only be for people who are part of this group. So just want to let you know, or members. I think I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna just like take out the speaker or the clip for YouTube. That's what I'm gonna do. So that it would create that safe space. And also if people want the full recording, they'll have to have an account and sign in. This way it's secure. Okay. So
I want you to be able to share all the wisdom that you give over and the speakers give over, but sometimes our chats, our feelings come out in kind of a personal way. And I thank you for trying to keep that more private.
yeah, definitely. So like what I'll do is like it will almost be like a podcast. The speakers will become like that part of it. And then you can listen to the speaker. And we really have some great speakers. This week we have Geulah from London. She's an amazing, amazing person. So it's really amazing every week to like just get a little glimpse into different people's lives from around the world. So Ariella, thank you for sharing your truth. Goldie, welcome. We all need a lot of, we need the lights of Hanukkah, and we have right now. This is beautiful. We have.
Can I share though that this realization, like it just confirms, let's say when for eventually, Mr. Shem, when we're gonna do our kitchen, it is showing that I do need to have my own opinion very validated, because I don't want to have somebody else design the kitchen and then I am stressed about just pick the colors and shapes of it. So it's just a confirmation that it is important for me to have my own say there.
So that's good. You're like, you shared a really cool comic by Mushki Silverstein. I looked to see who made it.
It's my sister.
Oh, really? That's incredible. Wow.
She does it every week. I could share them. She's very cute. She learns the Dvar Malchus and then she.
Wow. I saw another one and I didn't know who it was. And this time I looked closer. You all need to see this amazing comic. And what she said was like, anytime we feel like we have a trigger, something that actually bothers you, it said there, this is how you really come closer to your truth. So let's say today there's like so much around you, or there's things that you don't like, but it's reminding you of how you want to decorate your own home, which is your truth. Imagine if we took that as anything that goes on in our life, this is how I want to decorate my own soul. Like I'm in a group with like over 40 women who are planning this Monday event, one for Geulah. So everyone make sure to come at 2:00. Hopefully they're expecting thousands of women to join together for Geulah. But it's very interesting, especially in the beginning when that everybody was sharing their ideas, to see the different personalities. And it was easy for me to say, like, I like this style of working. I like the way this person responds. And it's like, let's say this person could like be a little bit difficult in the group. And instead of letting it annoy me, I'm just like an observer saying, it's so interesting. Like, how would I want to lead a group? Like, what would it look like? How do I want to dress my own sanctuary? And I'm like, thank you so much for teaching me what that approach looks like. And then there's other people who are very just more my style. And it's just like, okay, that's who I would want to be on a team with, you know? And it's almost like it's like a study for me, instead of other people are getting really frustrated and like, kind of like, this is, you know, and I feel bad because I heard that the head that started this, she really just has the passion. It's not like she has all the talents that are needed to create an event. So she's delegating, but she woke up this morning leaving a message saying she got so much negative feedback from people who felt left out and people who don't feel like they have a voice, or someone else is taking over, or this. And I'm like, wow. It's like, she just wanted to do good. She just wanted to bring the Geulah. That's it. And so she's like, I almost woke up and I said to myself, okay, I'm not doing this for a moment. Why would I want to do this? And then she's like, no, I'm not giving in to the, like, in a way we call it like the terrorist. I'm not giving in to that. I'm not letting that take over this good intention. And she apologized if there was something she did to offend somebody. But she's like, people don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. And it's very easy to judge other people. And because I know what it takes to run an operation, I'm always like, just like, how do you do it? And I'm always like, just seeing the benefit of the doubt. I'm not looking out for myself. I'm just like, how can I help her? She's like managing this whole event. And so I was able to help them with my new video editing skills. It's so funny. I'm like, a week ago, I didn't know how to do this, or a month ago. So I was like, oh, Hashem, you know, orchestrated. But that was like, it's so important when you detach yourself from the antagonist and use it as a moment to connect with Hashem and say, Ani eftach bach, I trust you. You are no longer in, Shendel said yesterday, she learned in the Devar Malchus, like there's the masculine and the feminine. So the feminine is to be stuck in the emotions and just kind of wallow in it. And then it becomes too much. And then the masculine is to just skip over it, right? Find the solution, go quickly into action, or like, let's already deal with it. But when you take that pause and you detach from the pain, you don't detach, you detach from the antagonist, you don't absorb it, and you say, I trust you, Hashem, you're leaving space. It's like what Viktor Frankl says, right? That's freedom. That pause between the stimuli and the response. You're leaving space for Hashem to come in and like do his miracles. It's such a powerful moment that you don't go into the masculine of immediate response or react even more, but you kind of, and you don't like stay in the emotions and just like wallow and get stuck there. It's Vani Aftach Bach is like, Ani Aftach Bach is oneness. So I added it up. Ani Aftach Bach is the gematria of Hamas. So it really is. It's quite incredible. So it's like become very clear to me, this message, how important it is. And it's like the feeling that I had when I was 7, that it's no longer about the person triggering or hurting me. It's about me coming home and saying, Tata, I said, I trust you. I trusted. And then Tata, and like getting that hug from my father. It was no longer about, I didn't care anymore what she said. I was like, what's wrong with her? Like, does she have a problem? Is she hurting? Is she in pain? It wasn't even no longer about there's something wrong with me. It was my truth is that I made my father proud. Could you imagine? Mashiach's coming. Geulah's coming. We're going to come home. And every one of us, every moment that we come home, we come back into our own center. What's home? It's the Mikdash Ma'ah inside of us. We come home from that interaction or that moment where we felt out of control, we felt hurt, and we say, Tata, I said, Ani Aftach Bach. And just see, Hashem promises, look at Sha'ar Bitachon. It's all about have the bitachon, and then it's the vessel that Hashem pours his blessings into. So it's like, I come home, I say, Tata, I said I trust you, Hashem. Here's your quarter. Here's your bracha. And it's like, and it wasn't even any more about the quarter. And that's what Shara Bitachon ends with. It says, the greatest reward is your connection with Hashem, not the actual reward of Gashmias. Yes, that's one of the rewards for the immature relationship with Hashem. Because we need that for the connection. But the ultimate reward is the connection with Hashem. That's everything. And I'm so grateful that my father taught me that as a 7-year-old with my connection to him. He represented Hashem, the Father, that loving Father. And all I wanted to do was come home and say, I didn't even care about the quarter. I wanted to know that he was proud of me and connect to him. It just like blows my mind when that I need this message now in my life, and I've never thought of it in this way before. And so whenever we're getting that like hit from the news or from our own life, and you detach and you say, Ani Eftach Bach, you're connecting to your Tata. Let's do that right now. Let's, we need to be the peace we want to be. And that's what I'm saying. Every moment that you go from either like wallowing in the emotions or numbing the emotions, like being a masculine, just moving on, like nothing happened. No, we need to hold in our heart the pain for our brothers and sisters. At the same time, we're holding the joy for all of God's miracles that are happening today. We see it now. It's amazing. The miracles are starting to unfold. Exactly 2 months later, we see what's happening. And we go into Ani Eftach Bach. And Yehudis, I realized, if you want to say Aleph, Beis, Gimel, is Emunah, Bitachon is Geulah. But look at the words Ani Eftach Bach. So the song of that kapitel Tehillim starts with, like the song part of chapter 55 starts with, Pada b'shalom nafshi. Hashem, please redeem my soul and the soul of our people b'shalom, with peace. Then it ends with Ani Eftach Bach. It's like the beginning and the end of the song. Give us the first. It's like Hashem, here's the wish, and then Hashem says, here's the answer. It's like the Father. It's like I come home and say, Tata, could you redeem me from this pain? It's really, really hard. It's hard to go to school every day and feel rejected. I don't want to be rejected. The world is rejecting me, Hashem. And then Hashem, here's the answer. Stop putting your trust in others, in broken cisterns. Come back and say, I trust you, and really trust. And what's Ani Eftach Bach? It's Aleph, Ani. The Ani in you is your neshama, has to Eftach, needs to trust. And in the word Eftach, you have Av, you have Father, and Aleph and Beis is Father. Av. Bach is Beis, is Hashem in you. And it's also the feminine. Like Yehudis, you taught me that.
But why is it not Boteach and it's future? Maybe
Ani Eftach Bach is future.
Or maybe past. Sometimes it's also past. It's fine.
And then you have Ani Eftach Bach, Aleph Beis, that's a Geulah moment. So anytime you're in this moment and you say Ani Eftach Bach, that is already Geulah. You took the Aleph, the Ani Eftach, the oneness of Hashem, and you brought it into your Geulah, to your strife, to your situation. And that is already a Geulah moment. You're already living Geulah. When we open up our eyes, good morning, Alina, Ita, Leah, Zisa. When you open your eyes and you see, this is Geulah. And some Geulas take a little longer. Like I was dealing with a company that majorly overcharged me, like thousands of dollars and whatever I had to. And I just kept every day saying, I'll reach the right person. It's going to work out. And I just kept putting in, Ani eftach bach, I trust you, Hashem. And just today I'm seeing like them getting back to me, going to the higher channels. Not that it's such a, and I just like, I was in such a, I was so present with it instead of like just like freaking out and being in the emotions of it. I was just in the trust. And Ani eftach bach. So then I say, Tata, you just wanted me to connect to you. And we're all going through this in a much bigger way with what's going on in the world. And the more we connect, the more light we're spreading to our brothers and sisters in Israel. So what chapter is, I'm feeling like saying Esai Nai El Heharim. Who remembers what chapter of Shir Amalis that is?
Kuf Chaf Aleph,
Okay,
121.
I want to say that one because this is the Bitachon Tehillim. It's like when we don't see Me'ayin from nothing, that's where where we don't see the solution, that's Bitachon. Where we don't see where it's going to come from, that's where the nace comes from. So where it just seems impossible. Like even if you think about the story of Hanukkah, I mean, what was the possibility of this tiny army winning over the Greeks? They were huge and they were very, very powerful and had all the latest weapons. And we won. L'mayla midarach hatava. So from nothing, Ezri me'im Hashem, our help comes from Hashem. So when I think of my father's name, that's what I think of, Azriel. My help comes from Hashem. And that's why every person's name really is a message for the world. It's like you have a neshama with a unique message that only you could bring to the world. That message will outlive you. And God willing, we'll all live to see Mashiach. But really, there's a message. You're a menorah. You're a living menorah that is eternal. And even our loved ones who are no longer like physically here, but the candle of the light of their soul shines. And like thanks to this group, I really connected to my father's name, Azriel, in this chapter of Tehillim 121, because I realized he taught me bitachon from a young child. And we need to teach this to the children when they're young, because they don't have as much logic, right? Faith and trust is not logical. Our existence as Jews is also not logical. We are miracles. That's the opposite of logic. So what my father, his neshama is still teaching that. It's like the light of the Jewish people continues to shine. You know how comforting that is for people who lost a parent, to be able to tap into a message and to continue to share that. So I want to just really thank you for receiving my father's light just through my channeling it. And Alina, whenever I talk about my father, is she here? She left. Wait, where are you? I always feel like she lives where my father used to live, that there's some connection there. But so let's say chapter, and everyone's going to tell me what resonates for you in this chapter. And that's what resonates for me, is the words Me'ayin, a song for ascent, Shir Lamalais, Esainai El Heharim, Me'ayin Yavai Ezri. I raise my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? And actually, this is the Levium, when they would ascend the steps in the Holy Temple, they would recite this song. Ezri me'im Adonai aiseh shamayim va'aretz. So when we don't know where our help will come from, we trust. And remember that our help comes from Hashem. Like Azriel. Al yitain lamait raglacha, al yanum shamracha. He will not allow your foot to falter. Your guardian will not slumber. Hine la yanum v'la yishan shaimer Yisrael. Behold, the guardian of Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Adonai Shemracha, Adonai Tzilcha, Al Yad Yeminecha. Hashem is your guardian. Hashem is your shadow. Al Yad Yeminecha, by your right hand. You know, this pasuk reminds me of the mezuzah, because it says the shin on the mezuzah is Shaimer Dal Sais Yisrael. Hashem guards the doors of Israel. Right now, we're all lighting the menorah by our doors, right? And Hashem's guarding the light that we shine through the doors of our homes and the doors of our institutions. And Hashem is our shadow. What does that mean? That Hashem will mirror the way we respond. If we smile, Hashem smiles. If we trust, then Hashem trusts us in our partnership. And so what is a miracle is that we go beyond our nature. We respond in a way that is not natural. Like our natural way would be to be afraid and be worried. Like somebody from Gush Katif, I forgot his name, but it's on the podcast for Ida and Rivka, Inside Out podcast. So I saw a little clip, and they asked him, how are you not afraid? I think he lives in Hebron now, but he was one of the people that was involved with Gush Katif, fighting for Gush Katif back in the day in 2005 when they gave it back, which is what led to today in a certain way. And Rivka asked him, are you afraid? Do you have fear? He said, that word is not in my vocabulary. I do not use that word. I don't want to give any power to that word. So he is responding above nature. It's natural to fear, and a little bit of fear is okay because it keeps us alert, make sure that we're guarding our doors as much as we can, and then leave the rest to God. You know, now our schools are getting all nervous here in Albany because yesterday there was a shooting at the conservative temple, and the guy screamed Free Palestine. So it's really like in the ear, and there were children there for Hebrew school. So thank God nothing happened. The guy is taken into custody, but there's still now this concern that do we have enough security? So yes, of course, we need to have a little bit of that fear to ensure that we're doing our part, but we need to also respond above nature, and that is with our neshama, and our neshama is in trust. Our neshama is in bitachon, and when we go beyond our nature, Hashem is our shadow. He mirrors that. He responds with the miracles. And by your right side, that's like I was thinking that's both of the doors is like we have the menorah on one side and we have the mezuzah on the right side, right? So Yaimam Hashemesh layakeka v'yareach balayla. By day the sun will not smite you, nor will the moon at night. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra. Yishmar es nafshecha. The Lord will guard you from evil. He will guard your soul. Adonai yishmar tzescha avayecha me'ata biyad ilam. Hashem will guard your going out and your coming in from now into eternity. So this is really the message of a mezuzah. Whenever you see a mezuzah and you give it a kiss, it's your nefesh a kiss, kissing Hashem. Like use it as a moment to connect to Hashem. And instead of worrying about, are you gonna be safe, or wherever you're going, feeling flustered, or I'm going to be late, or whatever it is that's on our mind, just kiss that mezuzah and say, Hashem's guarding me. Everything is going to work out the way it's supposed to work out according to Hashem's plan, his grand plan, and Hashem will guard you going out and coming in. And so I was thinking of the mezuzah as really is for me the image of trust. Because bitachon is when we go out. It's when we engage in the world. Emunah is when we're learning, when we're praying. Those are our roots, and we're nourishing them so that we can build the bitachon. We grow our faith, our roots through tefillah, through Torah, through all the art, integrating it into our art. into anything that Hashem has given us, our vessels. And then we're able to engage in the world with bitachon, with that oneness with Hashem wherever we go. So, yes, so everyone has a different fingerprint to leave and impact the world. And that is, my father has been gone 39 years. He loved Hanukkah. I loved Hanukkah with him. And I remember how much I missed him after 10 years old, where he wasn't there to light the menorah. But now I realize today, wow, he's still lighting his menorah. Every Jew is a living menorah, and our connection to Hashem is the light that we radiate past our physical lives. And the fact that I can share this Tehillim and think about him and the message that he taught me at 7 years old to say, I trust you, Hashem, and the love that I felt for him, and the pride to come home and say, I did it. And it was about, I wanted to just connect to him. So in a certain way, I wasn't focused anymore on the antagonist. I was focused on strengthening my connection with Hashem and my own father. So when I say this Tehillim, I also connect to those words, Ezri me'im Hashem. Hashem, he was teaching me that don't put your trust in anyone else for your worthiness, for your validation, for even your, like sometimes we put a lot of trust in our friendships, put a lot of trust in other people to make us feel good. And he was saying, it's great. Hashem's just teaching you this at a young age, to detach from that codependency and really connect to Hashem through trust. So I wish everybody that strength at this time. It's really what Hashem is telling us. Our Father is telling us the same thing. We're like, Tati, we can't take this anymore. We're being hurt. We're being, there's so much suffering and pain. And Hashem is like, come home and say, I trust you. Just say, I trust you. The brachas are coming. The miracles are coming. I'm hugging you. I'm with you. I'm holding you. Can you feel that? Can you all envision yourself coming home to your Tata in Himmel and saying, Hashem, I trust you. And Hashem saying, I'm so proud of you, my daughter. When you think of that, right? So some people said in the beginning how they felt. So now I want to ask you, so we have some despair in the comments and thankfulness for Hanukkah. We also have someone else saying, I'm feeling challenged, tired, and at the same time holding gratitude for Hanukkah and the light and the miracles. That's so beautiful. And Ariella, do you want to share how you dealt with feeling challenged? It sounds like you're really integrating this into your life. And your father, your Tata in Himmel is saying, Ariella, I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Here's your gift. He might be giving you a quarter, but even more, are you feeling that connection to Hashem, which is the greatest reward?
No.
The gift? The gift?
Sorry. I don't know.
The gift?
Baby, give me a minute, my love.
The gift?
It's okay. We love those sounds.
All week I was very challenged. And there was a point where at first I was like, why again? Like, why are you putting me through so much again? And then I broke down and I cried for like a complete day. And then I was like, I know it's you. I know it's all you. I know you're sending me all of this. I know it's you. Please keep holding me like through it all. And then yesterday things got better. Baruch Hashem. And and then even we were invited to go the first night to a friend's house. So it was really beautiful. The kids did a scavenger hunt to get their presents, and we had latkes and babka, and it was very meaningful and very nice. And so, yeah, I just kept like looking up, literally looking up and saying, I know it's you. Just keep holding me through it all. Please make a miracle.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
You know, I just you know, like it says that really, like, we're the father. What I came to me was that, like, in a certain way, my father loved teaching. Not in a certain way, he loved teaching so much that he found a way to ensure that I would never stop teaching. And I feel like he wants you to know that anyone that he ever taught is like his daughter. So Ariella, what the same message that he gave me when I was young, I feel like he gave you. I feel like it, and you got it. Like, you really got the message, and you're saying, like, it's hard, Tati, it's hard. I can't. I'm so challenged. And he's like, I'm so proud of you, Ariella. I know it's hard, and you have so much responsibility. But look at that. You are connecting to Hashem. You're not a victim. And, you know, like, we're one with our parents, right? We're a part of them. We have their DNA. So this message is so comforting for me, because he's still teaching this. He's still raising his daughters. You know what I mean? Like, he's really giving this to you, Ariella, and that's why I'm sitting here, because I'm telling you, he should be doing this. This is what he used to do. He taught in Machon Chana. He taught women. He really did. He taught women, and he taught little kids, and he taught women. And it's like interesting that most of the time people do one or the other, and that somehow I found myself doing both. You know. So I'm saying that I know that Hashem is so proud of you, and if my father was here, he would also be joining this Farbrengen and saying, he would go with, like, he used to do it with his hand like this. So he would go like chazak, chazak, you know, just, you've got this. And it's really, really amazing that you got the message that I got when I was 7. So thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for this, because you have been and are a continuous light in my life.
And so have you. We're all lights for each other. We're living menorahs, literally. And I wrote a message for my newsletter today that I'm going to send out after. The light that we have is from the crushed olives. It's like, that's what we are going to hold up and say, with these crushed olives, with the pressure that I've been through, I got my oil. And with that oil, you light a menorah that other people see it. They see that light that's radiating. So when we're trying to hide our pressures and our challenges from each other, then we also can't light our menorahs. So it's so important to just, like, be real. Like Shainzel says, is real. What does it mean to be in Israel? Like, make it, it's real, is real, be real about what we're holding in our heart. Think of your heart as like the land. And in the land, there's every kind of season, every kind of weather, every kind of, just, Israel is so amazing. There's every type of, right? From the north to the south in this tiny country, you have every kind of incredible just
Environment,
environment, right?
desert, mountains, water.
And that's what we're holding inside of us. We're incredible. We have every quality that we need to be our holy land. So anyone else want to share anything? Share or grow from your week, reflections, victories? So Yehudas, how's you? Well, you did share, but is there anything else? Any victories for this week?
I do want to say, like, I know unfortunately on Tuesdays and Wednesdays I can't come on, and I didn't realize that Thursday there wouldn't be, but I do want to thank you for giving me the thought that it's my father and my father-in-law helping me from up there, like pulling the strings, because I do know that, like, my father-in-law's last message to me was, if you're not doing it for Simcha, you're doing it wrong. You have to work on that. And so no, I appreciate that. Like I that you told me that they're working up there to make it happen. So it's like, this is a gift that they are giving me. It's nice. Thank you.
Wow.
And this week, a lot of times if there was something hard, I just say, I'm grateful that I have me to support myself. Like that was my gratitude. Like, I'm grateful that you're here listening to me. And then I would recognize, like, this is hard, or this is la. But I did I did great. How do you say? And I did find my January one of last year.
What did you find?
The G.R.O.W that I had written. I mean,
Oh,
it's it's not specific about anything. It's just you said, they're like, oh, from a year ago. It's like, yep, I have the proof.
so that's you saw that you were in a different place, like you could see.
Well,
Could see the growth.
I'm in the middle of writing. I'm with G.R.O.W Passionista project, and she just had it's like after 6 months, it's the end, right? It's every 6 months there's a new whatever. So she gave us the homework of writing whatever our goals were, to see how a little bit, or whatever milestones you had. And it is fascinating to write that, to like notice. I mean, last year I did it for 12 months, but you'll see it's like, okay, it's messy, but like the beginning is just emotion code, like that's just what I was doing. And then here you see how I started sparking a little bit of my light, like just a little bit. Like, this is when I started with G.R.O.W, and just a little bit, this is when I started with you. It's just, this is this month, you know what I mean? Like the difference between just,
so you see the leaps in the last couple months,
or just recognizing, just, I mean, this is a cool exercise, because it actually, even if it's just I printed out pictures, for me that's terrifying. It's like, I did that, it's a little drop, but Bezrat Hashem. Yeah.
Wow. So that's a really good grow, is like, can you now, like, that's what Hanukkah is about. It's looking back and expressing your gratitude, and then recognizing your milestones. These are miracles. They're miraculous milestones. Every one that you went beyond your nature, you took that next leap in your life. It's a miracle, and you couldn't have done it without Hashem. And I want to welcome Miriam. Last night I shared this video. I'm going to share it again. It's dedicated. Oh, and Yehudas, you also missed Wednesday, where I shared the video that you dedicated. And it was a crazy Hashgacha Pratis. You need to watch the whole thing, because you were part of it, even though you weren't there.
I know, I feel bad, but on Wednesdays our sisters have a shiur.
So you basically you sponsored Leah Namdar's, and I actually sent her the money, by the way. I passed it on, so it went to her Chabad house for Hanukkah. I said, like, I wanted to give her something for taking time in her busy life to come on with us. And it was pretty amazing that I felt like your father was really there through you, like just smiling. I know your father had a very beautiful, like huge smile. I know the Ruddles, like there's just like a smile that lights up a room. And she actually said that because the Rebbe told her that she should be besimcha begashmias, which Jem translated that as practically. Hi, Miriam. So I'm gonna like simcha practically. So at the end of her stories, I said, what do you think that means for us today? It's very easy to say, like, be besimcha and hold the simcha. It's funny, you just mentioned that your father-in-law said that. So, but it's easy to say be besimcha, but then the other emotions take us over. So she was saying, you know, she quoted the Alter Rebbe that we could hold both in our hearts. We have that ability. But then she said, practically, she said, start with a smile. She just said, start with a smile, even if it's chitzanius, because we know like an action can lead us into feeling it. But we need to have both, right? We need to have the intention, but still, sometimes when you don't have the energy to think, just do it. Just take that one step, like light that little candle in your menorah. That's really today's theme. And she said that she had to go through a surgery on her face, which the side effect, the risk was that she might never smile again. She might, and we're like, and they literally said that to her. And she's like, what? And if you know Leah Namdar, she has a perpetual smile on her face. Said, and she just went with trust in Hashem because it had to happen. Then after this surgery, this Swedish doctor, very proper, he comes out and he says, smile. So she goes, she's like, you're one of the lucky few. You know? And I was like, thank God, Leah, you have your smile. Like you brighten up the world with your smile. And that's why that was the first thing at the top of her head, because Leah has been through so much, and like even just living in Sweden, and she's the most extroverted person. Like she was the mashpia of the entire Beis Rivka high school when she was in seminary. And then she moves to this place where she doesn't have that, you know, hundreds of girls to inspire. I see her shir is like 8 people. And I'm like, it's incredible that like she was just she was like my mashpia from when I was a teenager.
It does remind me of my father, because my father was actually doing really well in Canada as a mechanech, like an educator. And like they gave him the hardest class and he became the best, you know, like that kind of stuff. Like teenagers, right? I don't know. I mean, he's from Montreal, but I don't remember where he was doing that. And then my father was sent by the Rebbe in Italy, and he was teaching Aleph Beis to little kids. And my father wrote to the Rebbe, like, I almost feel like I'm wasted here. I'm teaching Aleph Beis when I was, you know, changing over teenager's life with my passion. And I don't remember exactly what the Rebbe said, actually. I actually don't remember.
Okay,
I don't remember. I should say it. I should.
So it's interesting, Yehudis, that I even feel like I was up to day number 23, and Miriam, your dedication for your grandfather, whose yard site was yesterday, I mentioned it in the class last night, was video number 24. I want to show both videos, and I want you each to see the divine providence that it's connected to your father. This is a message from you, from your father, and maybe your father-in-law too. But even like, I wasn't thinking so much. I'm just basically going in order of this Grow Trust Planner. And it's happening every time. People who dedicate this video, it's like the message from the neshama. It's not even me. I'm just the gashmistic vessel here. And if you notice, like it says, a man who trusts is blessed, and there's like a picture of a chassid. So it's like crazy. You have to see it. So Yodes, I'm going to show you, and then I want to hear what you feel. is a message for you. And then Miriam, I'm going to show yours. Each one is 1 minute. And I want you to share how this connects to your grandfather and share with us about your grandfather, whose yard site was yesterday. So this one is a little bit longer. It's kind of like a meditation. And it's the Va'ani Eftach Bach idea, exactly what we've been working on, Yehudis. And it just happened to be that day. So you see, do you all see it? It's on top of the Tehillim, right? You all see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Sometimes with the Zoom. Okay. Enjoy this trust exercise inspired by King David. Oh, I also want to say all of these are Yehudis' pictures from your trip to Israel. Your latest one? Okay, you'll tell us after. Fortunate King David, who says, "Fortunate is the man who made God his support." Breathe in gratitude for the ability to choose and feel bitachon. When we choose trust in God, our eyes open to recognize the ways He supports us. Envision moments in your life when God's support and protection were evident. Inhale, acknowledging the ways God has held and guided you. Exhale, letting go of worries as you trust in the divine plan. In oneness with God, repeat David's words, "I trust you, va'ani eftach bach." Picture a life free from anxiety, filled with peace and trust. Inhale, welcoming in the benefits of bitachon into your being. Exhale, releasing any remaining tension and embracing tranquility. So Yehudas, is that your father's message? Well, without the meditation, I don't know if you did that, but the Ani Eftach Bach, somehow you're very connected to it, but you need to unmute.
I wasn't trying to think. I was just trying to live it, experience. Well, it's definitely how my father lived. That's my my husband almost has a complaint about it. It's like, your father's money did come from trees, but it's not real life.
I love that. So that's amazing. So like this was your father's message, Ani Eftach Bach. That's it, right? It's just about the trust. And that's what the pasuk was, if you heard it in the beginning. Like, blessed is the man, Baruch HaGever Asher Yiftach B'Hashem, B'Haya Hashem Miftacho. I think that's your father. It was like, Baruch HaGever. Oh my gosh. And your father-in-law's name was Baruch? Oh, okay. I love seeing these soul connections. And I'm sure both of them, were models of trust, each in their own way. Wow, that's incredible. You see, it could have been any idea, but this is Baruch HaGever. So how can you be sustained by those who've come before you and are helping you to raise your children today? Yeah.
It's funny because I was thinking that my father would tell me like, feet on the ground, right? But I had no idea what he meant. Like, now as a 32-year-old, I'm like learning how to feel grounded, which actually it's one of the big milestones that suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, I could feel grounded in this world sometimes. That's amazing. But when I was writing a letter to my father for his birthday this year, which was kind of like, face the fact, you're writing. It's called, it's part of grieving, where you write. It's like a relationship graph. First you make a relationship graph, etc. But one of my complaints, not complaints, I guess it was a complaint that, you tell me feel grounded, but I had no idea how. But then with my father-in-law, he was very into, like, one of his last messages was that most men do get sick before women because they don't have, it's not as socially acceptable for men to sit together and give space to emotions or speak them out. And a lot of those get stuck in the body, and that's how a lot of people get sick. So my father-in-law was very into like have emotions, express them, respectfully, of course, but don't shut them up. And now is the generations that we could do it,
Yeah. And I think if you do it with the Aleph, with the trust in Hashem, that you're feeling exactly what you're supposed to feel, and that Hashem is helping you get through it, like you'll get through it, it will pass. Gam ze yavar. It's not going to last forever. It's just like, it's a messenger.
And that was the miracle of this Yutas Kislev, like Yutas Kislev is the Rosh Hashanah, the Chasidus that tells you to be happy, and that just being a Jew is happy. And I was not in a good place at all. But the miracle was that I was trusting Hashem that I'm in the pit today and I'm going to stay there, and I trust you in it. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to. Did you see Sarah Schwartz's message of the first night? It was gorgeous. She said, we say 3 braches and we light 1 candle, and there's 7 that are missing. It's like, you could hyperventilize, like, it's not good enough. What do you mean? I just did a little, 1 little, but it's not. No, we're celebrating this much that we did today. We are enough. And this is all we could do. And tomorrow we'll try more. But it's just so beautiful. And Hashem is so happy that we did that 1 candle.
I know something so funny is that my grandson, he's 3 years old. His name is Moshe Meir. And my daughter wrote a picture of him crying. He's crying that we're only lighting 1 candle. It's not enough. He wants to light the whole menorah. I was like, he's a neshama. That's what our neshama is feeling every day. I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. Even it's like a Yetzer Hara in a kapata, in a surtuk. The Rebbe says, like, the Yetzer Hara comes in all shapes and sizes, and it comes and says, you're not a good enough Jew. You're not doing enough. Look at what she's doing. You're not having as many guests at your Shabbos table. You're not cooking enough. You're not happy enough. It'll even tell you that. You're not besimcha enough. And then you're like, you don't have enough bitachon, right? And that
well, actually, yeah. I discovered that Hashem could be in the pit, and he wants to be in the pit with me. And that's like my big thing that I discovered this year. But also, you just said, you just said something
about not being enough. So now, so Yehuda's, that video was made just for you. I just channeled your father-in-law, and this is the message. It's going to bring you the healing, the refuah for Mitzvah Shem, your son, like whatever the healing, even to your family, just going through this. There's bigger healing happening, and it's through the trust in the pit that you're going to come out with your menorah that is shining so bright. Just so many facets of you, just like a menorah, are being revealed. And that's what Hanukkah is. It's the celebration of the revelation of the hidden growing light that comes from the crushing of the olives. And we know that, like, you've been through your things, just so much grief in the last, I don't know how long it's been in a time span. It's amazing that you have a smile on your face. It really is. Like, to lose a father-in-law, and then go through, your own personal challenges, and you're standing on your 2 feet. Like, that is a miracle.
Well, I have a lot of people holding the bolts together. But about a smile, actually, I remember after my sister passed away, that was my big hachata, like smile once a day.
Wow.
And it was like Mesiras Nefesh, like it was so hard to do, but I did it for her.
Incredible. So we see that's a crushing. You've been crushed there, and that's a candle, your smile. And we are getting the benefit of your menorah. Like we're feeling your light radiates, just like, you know, the menorah is so beautiful for those who see it. And that's why it says the mitzvah of Hanukkah is to not to use the light, but to liro san bilvad, to see the light of the menorah. And I think physically and emotionally and spiritually, like we can do that in this circle, because every one of us is a living menorah from everything we've been through, especially when we share it, when we're able to light that menorah and come online and be vulnerable and share your story and how you're still smiling and you're still trusting in Hashem, and you're waking up every morning and you're saying, Hashem, I'm in the pit with you. I want to say, I see you. I want to say, I see your light. And I want to say that to every person here. That's the mitzvah of Hanukkah. Not just to see the light of your physical menorah by the door, but every person who walks into the light, your light, the different doors of your life, see them. See the beauty of their neshama. They are a masterpiece. They are a glowing light. And when we see each other as a light, I would say that's Geulah. Even though we've been through so much, that also brings Nechama to what we've been through. By me being able to share my story openly about my father, instead of being alone in the pit with that story as I was for 30 years, until I began to share. And I went through the crushing even while I was sharing. But now that is my menorah. I'm able to give you like my father's teachings today as if they're alive. So I'm just like, wow, like just integrating that this light that I'm seeing of my father, the light of legacy, the light of your father, Yehuda. It's like, I feel so connected. I just like see your father smiling right here. And I love the Ruddle smile. Like I love the Ruddles. I grew up with them. And like connecting to you is bringing that humor and joy into my life. And I really want to thank you for being open, because I'm sure it took you time to be comfortable just to share this and open up and feel safe to do this in your own life. But you should know that that is a menorah that's shining for you, your family, and everyone who sees you, who really sees you. Not everybody's going to see you, because that's just the way it is. Sometimes your light is too bright. It's like blinding for some people that are in the dark. But those who see you, those are the people you want to hang with. So here is the next one from Miriam. And this is called The Secret of Success. And it's dedicated to your, thank you so much for reaching out to me without even, I didn't even need to ask. Miriam reached out to me and said, I want to sponsor the next one. So Miriam, I shared it last night, but you weren't there. So I'm so glad you joined today. And here is this one. Okay. And you're going to tell me, why was this message connected to your grandfather? Yes, Devairi, so true. Okay. So 1 second. So thank you, Yehudis. You should have a refuah shalema for Shmuel. Shmuel ben Yehudis should have a refuah shalema, and the neshamas of your loved ones, I lost it, should have an aliyah, and you together with them in this world. Okay. Do you know the secret to success? We can't just rely on our efforts alone to achieve success. We need to be grateful to Hashem for wisdom, strength, and wealth. Those who recognize that these are all gifts from God are in oneness with God and will succeed and win. It says in Kohelet, I returned and saw under the sun that the race does not belong to the swift, nor the war to the mighty, and the wise do not have bread. We are one, and we won the battle against the Greeks, and we will continue to win this war today. We wish for Hashem's continuous miracles and to celebrate the ultimate celebration with Mashiach now. So thank you for dedicating in memory of your grandfather, Aaron Yitzchak ben Elazar Lebowitz.
Leibowitz, yeah. Thank you.
So the message there was that we grow with Jesus. It's so important to be grateful for our talents, but to recognize that we're not achieving the success of our strengths on our own. And we recognize that everything comes from Hashem. That's the secret to success. And that's why even the war today, it's not being only won by the strength of the army, but it's really because of the strength, because it's all from Hashem that we are able to win. So would you say that that's related to your grandfather?
Well, a lot of what my mother talks about, my grandfather, has to do with Eretz Yisrael because even though he was born in America and raised in America, he met the Klosenberger Rebbe, and he basically ran after him to Eretz Yisrael, even though the Rebbe told him, "Don't come." It's like he lived in Eretz Yisrael in the 1960s, and it was very primitive in Kiryat San, and they had like nothing that we know of, like no phone, no refrigerator, and it was very hard. It was very hard to live there, but like he was very determined. And then when the war broke out in 1967, they all had to leave because everybody panicked. And ever since then, all my mother talks about is how regret, like that they shouldn't have left, they should have stayed, but nobody knew what was going to be then, you know? So it's there's like, and then later on, my grandfather moved back to Eretz Yisrael in his later years, and he's buried there. So yeah, and he always used to tell us we have to eat the Paris of Eretz Yisrael. Like it was very much connected with like, saying brachas and connecting with things that are from that land, like food that we could eat. So even though he lived most of his life in America, technically, that's not how I don't associate him with living in America,
Wow.
But I did mention how education really saved him spiritually because his mother sent him to a yeshiva, and she didn't send any of the other kids to yeshiva. They all went to public school, and she only sent him because so he could avoid getting drafted into the U.S. Army. And he's the only one of all his siblings that stayed from. Everybody else is assimilated. So it's sad, but it also shows the power of how important like giving our children a Jewish education is, because eventually like that's what they associate their lives with. That's what we hope for, at least, So
That's incredible. So we could be sure that he's davening for the army to have many more miracles from above, and so like this.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't associated like from a Zionistic point of view. It was more a spiritual point of view. But I think now we're seeing a lot of connection between like, different people's opinion, and now like none of those opinions matter. Like now, like from people are want to join the army. And I saw a beautiful video yesterday of these Hasidim. They lit a menorah for every single hostage, and they were singing. And I just was like, it was so beautiful, because a few months ago, I don't think those type of people would care about the people who were living there in those areas of the country, So, and then now it's like, it doesn't matter, So I thought that was really like amazing to see that.
It's so true. The truth is being revealed. There was a lot of fighting. People weren't talking to each other before. That's what somebody was interviewed on Chabad.org. And she was saying, like, now it's like there's no difference. We're all really one family. So may we keep this. This is the new world that we're creating. And Kat's crew, by the way, wrote to Yehudis that your spiritual lipstick, something about your spiritual lipstick. I think that's your smile. Yeah, your spiritual lipstick. I actually do have in my book, Weaving the Tapestry, I have a whole thing about the makeup of the Jewish home and all the different parts of makeup and how it's all really spiritual. Like, what's the foundation? And it was written up in a cute way. So those of you who get the book, you'll enjoy it. Yes, the smile is your lipstick, Yehudis. You don't need lipstick. You just need your smile. So anyone else want to share? Come on camera and say good job.
If I could just share one more thing about my grandfather,
Of
he
course.
always, at least as a child, this is what I noticed. He always used to say Asher Yatzar with like a tremendous amount of kavana. And as a child, I was like rolling my eyes. I was like, why on earth is he standing there shuckling? You know, like it was like Yom Kippur. Every time he said Asher Yatzar. And now, obviously, as an adult, you know, it's I don't say it like that, but I definitely, you know, whenever I do say it with Kavan, I always have him in mind because it sometimes the little things we do make such an impression on people that we don't even realize. So like he wasn't saying it to impress us. He was doing it privately. He would stand in a corner, like if he was visiting my parents' house, he would stand in the corner of the basement where he was staying and like he was just chuckling away. And I was like, what on earth? You know, like why is he doing that? But now I signed up to there's a website that you can choose. It randomly gives you a name of a soldier, and of course nothing is random. But I have a name of a soldier, and my kavana is what I say a with kavana, that I have like this soldier in mind, that merit, you know, is for him. But it was just interesting how like as a child, like that made an impression on me subconsciously, even though like I thought it was strange, but it still made a bigger impression on me later. So we should all know that every little thing we do makes an impression on somebody, like we don't even realize.
Wow. So that could be our oneness for your grandfather. You know, we're great. It sounds like you're very grateful for him. We recognized him in many ways, his
Well,
love.
I think it was also, I didn't understand a lot of things that he was doing as a child, you know, but now I'm sort of starting to like realize it, you know.
I think
So
what's happening is that you're connecting to his neshama and he's downloading to you. Like these ideas are not random. Why you like it's almost like subconscious. Like, did you think about this all the time? Like he was his ashir,
no,
but now it's like
yeah,
coming to the fore because
right,
he's reminding you and he's saying, I was teaching you. I was instilling these values into your bones when you were a young child. And that's really where learning takes shape. You were shaped by those
right.
lessons that he lived.
And it
It's
also wasn't intentional on his part either. That's just, he was just doing what he felt was right doing, you know. So I'm saying our actions speak louder than words. That's what I'm saying.
wow, that's education. Education is not about what you do, but it's who you are. That's how our children
Right.
are. So true.
Yeah.
So he teaches us so much. The Asher Yatzar, the love for Israel. You said, was he involved with education actually?
No,
No.
not really. Not that I know. He was just a simple yid, but at he passed away in Erev Hanukkah, but it was also Shabbos that year, and all his children, he has 3 daughters, and they all live in America, so none of them could come. And Nurse Yisrael, they needed to do a levaya right away, so they did a levaya on Motzei Shabbos, but there were still like 1,000 people at his funeral because he was so respected in the community that he lived in, because he was like a huge chassid of the Kozenberger Rebbe. But he was just a simple Jew. He wasn't, yeah, he didn't.
So the
You know,
education part was that he was the only one who received the Jewish education.
because of his, right,
from-
right,
That's-
right. Because of his education, he ended up, you know, that's at least how I see it, you know, because I once went to, one of the cousins had a memorial service. One of my grandfather's siblings passed away, completely not from, like totally, like not even kosher food. But I went because it was in Florida, and I was sitting there. I was like the only from person in the audience, and they don't have any connection to Yiddishkeit. They were talking about memories of the grandparents, and they just thought their grandparents were like crazy people from Poland, you know, who dressed modestly, you know. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, am I the only descendant who's, you know, religious? And they were so happy I came, but it's not even on purpose that they're assimilated. They just don't know. Like they just completely lost, you know. I should really try to connect with some of them. I like kind of forgot about them. But
Wow.
yeah, so I just, that's because they said it at the memorial service that only my grandfather, you know, or my mother said, I don't remember who told us, but somebody said it, you know, and like they had nothing. They were just public school, regular Americans, you know.
Wow. So maybe your grandfather is giving you that idea to connect to your relatives. He's like, connect for me. I can't call them and wish them a happy Hanukkah. Can you do that?
I don't know.
Sometimes like the grandparents are the glue of the family, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
hard, right? Like they remind us that we're one, one family.
Yeah, but I'm saying they have memories of the grandparents, but they don't understand like why the grandparents lived the way they lived, you know. They just don't get it. So I'm sure it was hard on my grandfather's parents to see all their children get assimilated because they thought they were doing the right thing by giving their kids public school education. You know, they came from Poland, they were escaping persecution. This was before World War II. You
Yeah.
know, between World War I and World War II, they thought they were doing the right thing. You know, I don't think they were doing this on purpose. You know,
Wow.
that's just the way the world was then, you know. So I just found it interesting.
So it's really you're like that one candle. Like your grandfather was that one candle that sustained Judaism in your family, and thanks to that, you know your family is continuing that light. And I think
Right. So
all
it's
of us can
interesting.
think about, you know, also like my father and his family is also that like that little candle. Also, they came after World War I, and a large family, like 10 kids, and yeah, they went to public school, but really they were from, you know, the
Yeah.
grandparents were very,
Yeah.
very,
Right.
and
They came from Poland, but
but
just
then
slowly got
yeah,
lost.
and my grandmother, even though like she really knew a lot, but she never learned Hebrew. And then she married somebody who wasn't as from, so it was very hard to live it. And then my father like brought Yiddishkeit back to his mother. But she started wearing a sheitel for a while. It was very natural for her, but she just didn't have that life with her husband. And she loved the life. She supported him fully. You know, my father was supposed to go to Harvard, and he gave that up to go to
Wow.
Torah. He had a full scholarship to Harvard, and now I'm watching these presidents of Harvard, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa! It's like
Crazy.
my father already knew, like that's not where he wants to put his future, not just himself, but the choice he made would have affected his generations. Then maybe his children would have gone to Harvard, you know, he would have been some doctor.
Wow.
Then he just like,
Crazy.
it was like he was already finished with Brandeis. Like, who does that and decides to become a rabbi
Wow.
and the teacher of little children? Like, and so he was that little candle. If you could think about it, every one of us, you know, we're here because of that one candle. You know, it could be that, you know, for a
True.
family that there's Holocaust survivors and one grandfather survived and then started a whole new life. I know people like that. And it's just really, right? It's just, if you think
Yeah.
about it, today is the day to think about that miracle that we were just one little candle, and and every one of us is that too in our own, for our own family.
It's true.
I know that the Cats crew, they come from also like Holocaust survivors, right? You were saying another time. Wow. So thank you for sharing that, G.R.O.W. And on your grandfather's yard site, it's a day later, it doesn't matter, it goes into the whole Shabbos. Would you like to say a bracha, you know, a wish?
Just a bracha that we should all realize that it's called wearing a kiddush Hashem. My daughter had a teacher who always told the little kids when they were 4 years old, you always have to wear your kiddush Hashem hat because you don't know like what impression you're going to make on somebody. Just that we should all walk around like knowing that our actions are speak louder than words, you know. So we should be aware of that and, you know, hopefully make a better, you know, impression on other people. Not to live for other people, live for ourselves, but to just know that we're carrying that light.
Literally be the menorah, like shining, you know. It's in public. That's what somebody was saying. Like Ben
But it's
Shapiro.
not only in public. This was in private. This was a private thing that I saw him doing.
True. It's
No,
true. Every
I'm saying with their own
public private
family.
with for
In public,
sure.
it's easy. It's easy in public sometimes to behave ourselves. It's in private. That's where it's more challenging sometimes. To always remember that. And I'm speaking for myself too.
Right. Well, Ben Shapiro, who like took it upon himself to be a spokesperson for the Jewish people.
Yeah.
He was being interviewed. He lives near you, in Boca. Boca
Yeah,
Raton.
I don't know he lives here, but he was interviewed at the shul in Boca.
lives
Yeah, I
in-
saw a tiny bit of it.
Yeah, he lives in the community where remember when you came over to Linda? He lives in that community.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
just
Okay. I
watched
didn't
him
know.
saying that really every Jew is a spokesperson for the Jewish people, whether you like it or not. But these non-from Jews say, I don't wear a kippah, and he's like, if you carry the name Goldstein, you cannot hide that you're a Jew. And when people see you, they do not care if you have a kippah or not. They see a Jew, and therefore you are a living testimony of what a Jew is. And he
Right.
said, that's why the news likes to take a Jew, that did something ethically wrong and say, these are
Right.
the,
Yeah.
and he never
And
saw
that's why
that.
he wears a kippah. That's why he's so adamant about wearing a kippah.
Yeah.
He's like, what am I? Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty amazing.
so if we see ourselves as like, it's not just in private, like people see us and we never signed up, but that's Hashem put us in this world. Like we were chosen to be a moral compass for the world. So
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
yeah, sounds like
Um,
your grandfather was someone who took that on. He was a living menorah, a real living Jew.
yeah, I mean, I can show you. I have his wedding picture here. Hold on, let's see it. This is actually an original. I don't know how I ended up with it. But this is their wedding picture. This is like, a real American. Hold on, how do I make it? I don't know if you can see it. And then I have another picture of him later on. This is how he was like this is my mother with my grandfather. totally different person,
Wow. Wow, precious
I think
pictures.
Yeah, I think that he definitely was trying to connect to his spiritual side, when he became a chassid in his 30s. He was looking for something and he found it. Because the Kozenberger Rebbe has a whole story to himself, how he survived with nothing. He lost everything and he rebuilt himself, and he built a hospital, and he rebuilt the whole world, literally.
Wow. Wow. So can everybody just come on and say happy Hanukkah before we go?
Happy Hanukkah. Take
Oh, that's
care.
a beautiful
Good Shabbos.
smile.
Happy Hanukkah.
Oh, wow. Happy Hanukkah to Chaya and Devorah Leah. Thank you for your light this week. Happy Hanukkah and welcome, Flora. Was that your daughter? I didn't have a chance because I was in the middle to say hello to her. I love Jewish girls too. My first passion. And where do you live? Because we have a winter retreat, like a long weekend, December 28th through New Year's in East Greenbush, New York. Can't hear you. But yes, send me your contact because I want to keep you updated, even though I have your email somewhere, but I wouldn't even know how to find it. And also we do online programs if you can't come in person. So Miriam, thank you so much for sharing. Ariella, may you continue to feel Hashem in your life. Hannah, Kay, we've missed you. It's been a while, so thank you for reconnecting. And Flora, do you want to, oh, it looks like you're unmuted, but I don't hear you. Wait. Oh, you live in, oh, Burr. Okay, great. Thank you for that email. You want to send me also your phone number? And you're in Florida. We always have a lot of kids from Florida. By the way, I'm coming to Florida, Miriam, Flora. We're going to do an event in Florida by Chabad of Hollandale. I don't know if it's that Chabad, but nearby.
Okay, so let me know what day.
So it's January. I'm coming the weekend, January 18. I have a bas mitzvah. So I think it's January 20.
Okay, so be in touch. Thank you.
We're going to do a whole Bitachon retreat. Like it's going to be like with a lunch and a couple hours with art and
Wow.
with
Sounds
journal
nice.
with Goldie. You know how Goldie's been joining?
Oh, she's in Florida too?
So so God willing, yeah, we don't know like if she's going to get other shluchos involved. She wants to.
Okay, so you can message me and we can figure something out. Thank you.
I'm sure Linda will come and we'll have our annual Florida Grow Cafe.
Yeah, I could probably bring some people too.
Awesome. Yeah, so we'll have ambassadors like we did last year. That was so beautiful.
Yeah, that was really nice.
So Flora, good. I look forward to being in touch with you, and maybe there's something we can offer for your daughter. We do art and we do 3 programs a week for girls, but different ages. So I'm so happy you connected today. She's 7, perfect age. That's when we start. We start JGU at age 7. Does she